Behold the light. This candle represents the light that you are, that I am. The light within all sentient beings on the planet and elsewhere. And we commit and dedicate our lives to anything, to being rid of anything that obscures the light that we are. And for this knowing, and for this coming together to do this, we are grateful. And let us open in prayer. I invite you to turn within to your heart space and allow your words to be, my words to be your words. We take a breath and relax and connect with this inner knowing that we are this light of love and wisdom, that we have everything we need to be our highest possibility. I come here today with a heart that's open, a mind that's open, eyes that are open, so that I may learn, that I may grow, that I may expand and be my highest possibility, to be of service, to be of greater love, to help in the healing that is happening in each and every moment. And I have deep gratitude that I have been blessed with an awareness to know there is higher truth and opportunity in all things. And for this knowing, and for the power of prayer to be with me each and every breath, every step of my way, I am grateful. And I release this prayer knowing that it lives on and does its work through me. And it is so. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Oh, thank you, Sue, for that beautiful prayer. And Susan Hagar is our prayer partner on duty this Sunday. So I would like to welcome each and every one of you to Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa's online Sunday service. We are blessed, we are blessed, we are blessed to have this platform to continue our services and to meet with each of you. My name is Linda McCabe, and I am the service facilitator this morning. And before we start our service today, we would like to recognize, acknowledge the Algonquin Nation on whose traditional unceded territory we are holding this online service. We gratefully acknowledge them for their past, present, and future stewards of this land. Miigwech. And I'd like to now introduce our opening song, which is Down in My Soul. It is a video performance, and sing along.
Thank you all for coming. Isn't this a beautiful celebration? We'd like to have a song that's a call and response. We'll sing it, you sing back. You can come up here, Neil. Yeah. Very simple. There's one line that keeps repeating through every verse, and that line is, and the whole wide world is my home. So can we practice that together? Here we go. And the whole wide world is my home. Now we're going to turn it up to 10 and say it like you mean it. And the whole wide world is my home. That's what I'm talking about. Oh.
that you were each able to feel the power in that song as you experienced it in your homes, and recognizing that the whole entire world is our home. And speaking of the world in our home, much has been happening in our world this month. This is a month of eclipses, with another solar eclipse occurring on the summer solstice. And eclipses spiritually can bring up unresolved emotional and mental issues, and they can lead us towards greater introspection and self-awareness. My teacher, Sananda and Sakina, shared that this year, 2020, has more change happening in it than the next 100 years. So fasten your seatbelts. It is setting the stage for the next 100 years, for this entire century. So how we live this year is of great importance. So depending on what we watch and where we go, it seems like the world is erupting into chaos, with so many ghosts of society's unhealed past showing up. This is necessary for true healing to occur. And whenever anger, hatred, fear, doubt, worry, judgment show up, it is the sign that we have forgotten our true divine nature, that we have become separate from our soul's purpose, and the very reason we have chosen to live here on earth at this time of incredible change and transformation. Here at USCO and other like-minded spiritual communities, we know that if any of these contracted emotions show up, it is a call for love, for more love, a call for a new way. It is an opportunity to look within and clear up our own ghosts, so we can remember and embody more of our soul's purpose. And this is a perfect time to take a deep dive into our soul. And how fortunate we are this morning to have Dr. Margot McKinnon with us to take us on that deep inner quest. What we can get clear on is who we are and why we are here. And when we are clear, we experience our vision. So know that vision with me, an awakened world celebrating oneness. And take a breath and notice how you are experiencing the USCO vision, an awakened world celebrating oneness. And we do that through our mission of expanding consciousness and transforming lives. So this year, the Unity Worldwide theme is 2020, Perfect Vision, seen through the lens, a spiritual lens with 2020 vision. And our theme for June is well-being. And know with me the affirmation together: my heart knows well-being, no matter the circumstance. And breathe into your heart. And affirm that again with me: my heart knows well-being, no matter the circumstance. And let us tune in to the video for a deeper understanding of well-being.
My heart knows well-being.
My heart knows well-being,
no matter what the circumstances.
When I recognize the power of that affirmation, when I recognize the power of allowing my mind to become more still and focus my attention on the space of the heart, a treasure trove of truth becomes known to me.
my emotions go through phases and periods where they don't know well-being. But if I connect with my heart, if I truly take that journey from the head to the heart and drop into that center of peace and that center of knowing, that center of love within, I can create the foundation where I know well-being no matter what is going on around me and no matter what is going on within me.
My sense of well-being comes when I am at peace with who I am, knowing that who I am is a creation of the divine, uniquely gifted to shine my light in the world.
I know that the presence of God is with me and as me. Fully knowing that and stepping boldly into this truth, I feel a sense of comfort, I feel a sense of peace, and definitely, I feel a sense of well-being.
Life does not have to be based only on circumstance, that we can have well-being no matter the circumstance.
And our core value for this month is USCO's integrity. And as we live our life from a place of integrity, of understanding that we are the words that we speak, the thoughts that we have, the emotions we express and feel are all part of, are we being integrous in this world, in our community, in our family, with one another on our day-to-day interactions. And this goes equally important while we're in this time of social distancing and our services are online. It's even more important in a way that we stand in the integrity of our truth, no matter what. And for our announcements, so after this workshop, we are so pleased that on Monday, June 15th, this Monday, from 7 till 9, we have a workshop with Dr. Margot McKinnon that is taking a deep dive into the soul, which you will experience some of during her talk today. And she is going to weave this in a much deeper practical understanding in this workshop. So I would encourage you to sign up. And if you haven't listened to her before, I am just knowing that after her talk, you will be signing up. And so we ask for a $20 donation. And on the newsletter, in fact, there is a link which will, if you click on the link, it will take you right into the donation page, the PayPal page, to donate. And then send an email to the office at officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca, and you will be sent the link for the Zoom workshop. So hope to see you there on Monday evening. So a reminder that on June 28th, after our Serenity service, we are going to have our AGM online. We cannot delay it any longer in hopes that we will be getting back together. So it is important that members join us, particularly for this meeting, because we need your vote. So stay tuned, more details to come. And an invitation to join our newsletter. There's lots of information in it. For instance, there is a wonderful blog, I guess, from a minister who was also a police officer, and he was talking about defunding the police forces. And it's such a wonderful article. And so we're going to be putting things like that in the newsletter so that you can have thought-provoking opportunities to either link up with meditations or music or read timely information. So we invite you, if you haven't already joined the newsletter, to send an email to officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca, and Sheila will make sure that you're added to our mail-out list. And so let's get ready for the rest of our service with a song, Get Ready My Soul by Daniel Nemoth.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Every never seen. Everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here. And I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
So this morning we are fortunate to have Duff Friesen, who's going to read the daily word. And this is an invitation and reminder for each and every one of you that we would love to have your participation in some way during our Sunday service. So please email the office to let us know if you would like to participate. So Duff, I invite you to unmute and start your video and come on in.
Go ahead, Duff.
Divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. As spring ripens into summer each year, new leaves transform bare trees into canopies of green. Tiny seedlings grow into sturdy plants and decorate the landscape with an array of colorful blossoms. I marvel at the divine order demonstrated as the earth renews itself. I recognize that even as the earth appeared barren in wintertime, new life was preparing to spring forth. I notice this pattern in my life. I may be demonstrating visible growth in my life, or, like the earth in winter, it may seem that my life is stagnant and barren. I remember that as the seasons of nature change, so do the seasons in my life. Even when it is not apparent to me, I know that divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. And from Mark 3:28, the earth produces of itself first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head.
Thank you so much, Steph. You have such a rich voice, and I love listening to you read. So I would love to invite Sue Hagar, our prayer partner, to lead us through the affirmative prayer for this week.
Thank you, Linda. So as you see on the slide here this morning, we are focusing our attention on the power of understanding. This is the ability to know, perceive, comprehend, and apprehend. This is our innate ability, our divine birthright. This is represented by the disciple Thomas, his ability to see reality. The color is gold, and the location is in the front of the brain. And we affirm, my understanding of truth deepens and directs my life. This month, we are holding in prayer Unity of Vancouver, BC, and Unity of London. So we take this opportunity to pray for those who you are holding in your hearts and those whose names you may have placed in the chat box. But in any case, hold in your heart as we move into prayer those who are close to you that you think would benefit from prayer. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and turn within. And as we do this, we connect with this light, with this inner world, with our integrity, because our alignment with truth we know. And through prayer, we deepen this knowing, this understanding. And we have heard so much truth this morning. The whole wide world is our home. And there is silence in our heart. There is peace. There is forgiveness. There is love, compassion, so much more. And this brings healing to all of the situations that we are witnessing because we are one. We are body, mind, spirit, soul, and oneness. And so together we are healing. And let us be grateful together for our 2020 clear vision of what it is that needs to be healed now on this planet. For racism, for those who are suffering in long-term care or working in long-term care, whatever the situation, we know that there are infinite opportunities for healing. We are certain we are in a schoolroom of life and that we are learning and growing and realizing our divine potential. We affirm divine mind in all things and that everything is here for us. And for this knowing and for this love and for everything it is we are hoping for those we are holding in prayer, let us know that it is so, that it is done, no matter what our eyes see. We are grateful for this divine mind in all things. And we release this prayer, knowing its power to heal and transform. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Sue, for that beautiful, magical prayer of healing. You beautifully managed to weave in every theme we're talking about this week. So thank you for that. Now, before I introduce our guest speaker, I don't believe any of you are still on gallery view, but just in case, make sure that you are on speaker view and video and cameras are off. So we just heard the song by Daniel Namath, taking a deep dive into our soul. And really, with that song, we have put our soul on alert that we are wanting more joy and love in our lives. And to that end, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker all the way from Calgary, Alberta, Dr. Margot McKinnon. And Margot she had planned to be here this month in person, actually. Hi, Margot. And so we were able to connect, and she agreed to come online. So we're very grateful to have you. And many of you have heard her speak at USCO last year, and some have even taken her workshop that she offered. And if one of those are you, just please type in yes in the chat box so we know that you've been part of this bubble here. And Dr. McKenna is the author of The Exquisiteness of Being Human in the Body, Mind, Spirit, Soul, Oneness, Dominance Theory, a guide to elevating your 5 dimensions of self. She has her PhD from the University of Oxford, and Margot has been guided by spirit since she was a child and has learned to connect the dots for how to live this exquisite, full, joyful life. She travels throughout the country delivering spirit's messages, facilitating workshops, and doing private sessions. I know Margot from the few encounters I've had as being a really warm, engaging person who really wants everybody to experience what she has learned and is experiencing day to day. So, Margot, I ask our community to please join me in welcoming you as you take us on a deep dive into the soul. And Margot is going to be starting her talk after the music leading into meditation. I will do the meditation, and then Margot's going to come on and share her slides and lead us in her talk. So thank you.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day, I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave life as it is. Go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God.
So this meditation is a peace offering to soothe the tensions of the world, adapted by a meditation from South African animal communicator Winter Worston. So allow yourself to begin to relax. Close your eyes if you're able to do so. Become aware of your breath. Take a deep breath in and slowly breathe it out. Take a breath in of peace. And as you breathe it out, allow your body to relax even deeper. Feel your feet firmly on the ground. And as you continue to breathe, bring your focus to your heart center. And imagine your heart as a set of lungs. And imagine the air you are breathing as the energy of peace, of absolute, beautiful, wonderful peace. Breathe it in, the nature of peace, the peace of the universe. Now breathe it out, sending that peace to everything around you, to those in the room with you, maybe your animal friends, and move outside to all the nature beings around you, and the plants, the trees, the earth, the minerals, the crystals. Feel that wonderful connection to all of life around you. And now send that peace out to all those you know. Send it out to those who could benefit from this peace. Send it out to all beings everywhere. Feel that wonderful connection we all have. Feel the peace in this. Peace within, peace without, peace all around you as we breathe in and out. Breathing in the peace, breathing out the peace. We are clearing this space of any heaviness that is not of peace. Just clearing it out and transforming it into a lightness. Become aware of the peace now flooding the space around you. You are that peace. And reminding yourself, I am the peace of this world. I am the peace of this world as you enter the silence. And feeling your whole body filled with this lightness, this beautiful energy of peace, the lightness of peace. Now I invite you to take your focus back to your heart and back to your physical breath. And now your physical body, the chair. And when you are ready, open your eyes and prepare to receive the wisdom of Dr. Margot McKinnon. Margot, are you ready?
I'm ready. Do you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I can't see the gallery view of who's out there, but you can hear me and everything?
Absolutely. Yes, and we
I'm
can
gonna
see you
just
as well.
see. Can you? I can't see any of you, so I have to figure out how to do that. Nice to be able to see people. Video panel, maybe?
Try that, because on my it's
Sorry,
speaker
I-
view or gallery
Oh.
view.
I don't have any of that, so I'm just gonna go with what is. Are we ready though?
We are ready. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everybody for joining in this morning. It's really fun to be able to use Zoom to connect with people. I think I'm becoming kind of Zoom addicted because I really love it. It almost feels like being there in person. This morning, I'm going to talk to you about deep dive into soul, and Linda and Susan, all the other organizers have done such a wonderful job in creating the whole system around the soul and creating the song, putting in the songs and the videos. That's been wonderful. So we're going to dive deep in here. And as I've put together a slideshow for you, and I take all my own photographs as much as I possibly can. And I have some of my slides that I use when I think, oh, what do I want to know about soul? And I take my camera out and I go and find pictures along the way that I think really represent the soul. And so if it's really nice day in Ottawa today, it would be a really great activity because you can do it with social distancing and take it along the river and go and take some photos. So here we go. First of all, Susan and Linda have been talking about my book and the 5 dimensions of self. And I came up with this book many years ago, this model, and I was doing it in my master's degree, and it was actually a homework assignment to start off with. And the homework question was, how are the body, mind, spirit related? And as Linda said in my bio, that I've heard spirit talking to me since I was a little kid. And so when I got this homework assignment, I went into that space of vision to find out. And I simply said, how are the body, mind, spirit related? And this vision poured down to me and it said, actually, we have 5 dimensions of self: body, mind, spirit, soul, oneness. And we're born dominant in one of them and we grow the other ones over time. And today we can start looking at, are you body dominant or mind dominant, spirit dominant, soul dominant, oneness dominant? Or are you happy with being competent in some of your dimensions? I'm happy with being a body competent person, for example. I don't want to run a marathon. I don't want to time myself while I'm running. I want to go la 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 along the river. So I'm happy with being body competent. And so I think of that as I'm thinking about where are you on the spectrum of each of the dimensions? So are you body dominant, body competent, or body deficient, where maybe you need to go out and do a bit more exercise or have a look at your nutrition? Today, though, we're really looking at the soul dimension of self. And I focused all my slides and my talk on the soul part. And I think at different times in our life, our soul dimension awakens and niggles at us that there's still more for us to learn, overcome, and become. That's my son there. He's in Argentina. And he's always looking for his soul purpose. And he knows what it is. And he's always trying to elevate it and go deeper and deeper. And as for myself, I was given my soul purpose at the age of 4 years old, when I was playing in my living room and I heard this deep voice and it said, "You are to be a teacher." And at the time, as a 4-year-old, I thought being a teacher meant being a high school English teacher, which is what I built my career around. But I realize now in my life, I'm teaching more about the spirit and the soul, and how do we dive deeper into those dimensions and grow those dimensions, especially since we live in a predominantly body-mind world. So how do we create space in our lives to do that? And I really see my role, much as Linda and Susan and all the other people at Unity Church, is how do we create safe and brave spaces for us to really go in and dive in deeper, because we want to know more. We want to be more. We want to know that at the end of our lives, we can say, makes me cry a little bit. You lived your life really well, and you lived according to service. So these are the things I think about as I'm moving through my life. And when I got this vision, it really distinguished between spirit and soul. And when I was having the vision, I said, well, what's the difference between spirit and soul? My homework assignment was, how are the body, mind, spirit related? It didn't mention soul. What's the difference between spirit and soul? Well, it said to me, your spirit is the part of you that came from absolute unconditional love from the spiritual dimension. And it will go back into unconditional love when we pass over back into the other side. Your spirit is your eternal self. It's who you really are. It's your real self. And your spirit came here to earth to have a magnificent human experience. That's your spirit side. Well, then what is the soul, I said? The soul is the part of you that is your purpose. It seeks meaning and significance to the patterns, events, relationships in your life. It is your anchor in challenging times. And we need this soul purpose sometimes to get out of bed in the morning, because sometimes life is really hard. And being a human being is a really complicated process. And some days are really hard. But when you dive into your soul purpose, it makes it joyful to get up and out of bed every morning. But how do you know what direction to take? Because not everybody had a deep voice come in at 4 years old and say, you are to be a teacher. Some people have an inkling of what their purpose is. Some people have devoted their career, perhaps in nursing, healthcare, or in service in other ways. And they have developed a career out of that. But some people are saying, I'm soul competent in the sense that I know I have a purpose. I feel good about it, but I know there's something more for me. There is something more for me. And here's a kind of an example of getting into the deep dive. Can you imagine that just above your head like this, I call it the ether. In the ether is all that was, is, shall be, in the world and in your own life. So in there are all the versions of you. So when you think back in your life when you were a little kid and you managed to get over maybe shyness, or you got over fearfulness, and you were able to step into grander and grander versions of yourself. So these grander versions are all sitting in there. Your soul purpose and your grander version of your soul purpose is sitting in there too. But how do you get ready for it? How do you get into that next incarnation of you? So my son put it, the one that was sitting there on the fingers, he put it in a really elegant way. He said, when he was about 23, he said, I know my wife is in the ether. She exists. I'm 23. Absolutely. My wife is walking around. She could be in Calgary or she could be somewhere else in the world, but she exists. But I'm not ready for her yet. I'm 23. I'm not a man, full man yet with a career and finances and a sense of direction and purpose. I can't look after a family at 23 years old. But what I'm going to do from 23 until I find her is I'm going to get ready for her. I'm going to really work on my 5 dimensions, and I'm going to be a full man by the time my wife enters into my world. Because right now, if she were in the same room and she walked in, she wouldn't recognize that I'm her husband, because she is so amazing. She wouldn't even see me in a room. And I thought that was pretty wise, you know, at 23 years old, and he's been getting ready for her. And that works for our soul purpose too. You know, there is our next level that we want to get to, and now we can get ready for it. And it's sitting there in the ether if we can just go from here to there. And that's what we're going to be doing on Monday. I'm going to take you through some exercises so that you can see how to move yourself and into your next incarnation. But today I'm going to give you 5 ways that I have used in my life to really dive in deeper. First of all, whatever made you feel awkward about yourself growing up is likely your purpose. For me, it was hearing voices, seeing spirits, seeing into the future. And as a child, I didn't really know I was seeing into the future. How would I know? Because I hadn't lived it yet. And it's only as I'm growing older, I can say, oh, I saw that and I saw that. So now I keep a journal of my visions. But for me, that's what made me feel awkward. And that's why I try and create this very safe and brave space for people to really open up and explore their own understanding of spirit and soul. But for other people, I have a group right now that are using my model, my 5 dimensions of self, to unlock anti-racism. And they're looking through the 5 dimensions. It's not just skin color. Anything that blocks you from living out your soul purpose is racism. And so we're looking at anything that blocks somebody for being who they really are, their spirit self, and the life their spirit came here to live. And so we're opening this up for access to equal education. We're looking at it for poverty, children who grew up in poverty, and how do we use the 5 dimensions to help kids see that future self that's waiting for them in the ether, and how do they get ready for it? This model has so many applications now. And at the time when I was young, it's what made me feel awkward. And now it's become my soul purpose. Viktor Frankl I love, and many of you, of course, have heard about Viktor Frankl, and he was in the Holocaust as a psychiatrist. And he was really counseling the men that were in the camps. And some of the men wanted to give up. They wanted to run at the electric wire fence and just get life over with. And I really liked what he said. He said, I have nothing to live for. And he said, it did not really matter what we expected from life, but what life expected from us. So when you don't want to get up in the morning, or you feel like you don't have a sense of purpose in getting up in the morning, life has some expectations of us. We can find that. And really, Viktor Frankl, and I agree, because I had to do a lot of work on myself to really find when I hit a really, really dark pit in my life. I really had to transcend that and find the meaning in suffering, the meaning of disappointment, but also not just the kind of dips, but also the meaning of accomplishments, the real true meaning of love. So to be able to transcend dark times and be able to live out the life my spirit really wants to live becomes a meaning in life. And I have an exercise on Monday night that I want to take you through so that you can find these little blockers. Now, because I can hook into what I now call oneness, which is also the ether, where everything that it was, is, and shall be. I have clients that want me to go in for them. And the most common question I get when people book an appointment with me is, Margot, what is my purpose? I feel flat. I feel like I'm retiring and I don't know what's next for me. Or they've lost the love of their life and they don't know how to get their feet back on the ground again. They're in such despair. And they want to know, how do they get at their meaning of life? And I go for a run along the river every morning, and I have a little chat with the universe, with oneness, with the ether, what's sitting in there for them. And quite often I get very interesting messages, things like, and it sounds like in a little chirpy voice. For one woman, for example, it said, she needs to remember her kindergarten self. Okay. For somebody else, it was, she needs to start an art community. And it gives me a whole roadmap to this purpose at this stage in that person's life. Or another woman was, I want to know why I have this illness. Well, because something happened when she was 8. And then something happened 2 years ago that reactivated that memory. And then that's why she's sick today. And so there is, if you know how to contact that dimension, which I actually do in my spirit workshops, but that dimension, you can start pulling down your soul purpose. But quite often the messages I get is, there's a block there. Something is creating an obstacle for you moving to the next level. And we need to uncover that. And part of your next 365 days is to work out that block and move it over and move on. And so that's what I find mostly when the universe comes in. The universe, God, oneness, creator, the ether, it wants us to have a spectacular life. We're down here for joy, love, having a beautiful, brilliant, vibrant human experience. If there's something blocking you from having that, then that's what your purpose is right now, is to really dive in deep and start working that out for yourself. We're going to be doing that tomorrow night so that you'll have a picture of what your blockers are and a roadmap to uncover, to kind of get rid of them, untangle them, and move forward. So for example, so you want to find balance between hope and cliff. I live in a condo now in Calgary, and I had a little rap at the door, and there was one of my condo mates. It's a small condo of 26 units, and he was standing there, and he said, I hear you're really helpful to people who are depressed. And I said, oh yeah, well, come on in. So we were looking out my window, which I have a big panoramic view of downtown Calgary. And I said to him, what's your problem? And he said, well, I used to have $34 million and then I lost it. He was kind of famous, you see, and I lost it all. And now I have to live in a condo building. And, you know, I'm used to living the high life, and now I'm sad and depressed. And I said to him, well, you know, we live, and this is true, our condo, we live between Hope Street and Cliff Street, and we must find the balance in between. And that becomes a purpose in life, is really looking at how do you create balance? How do you navigate this way and be your really best self in doing that? He thought that was hilarious. He said, that's going in my memoirs. Well, I hope you'd give me a citation. I'm teasing, right? But I actually, in a soul workshop, we're only having 2 hours on Monday night, but I did a whole day one. And if you're curious about this, have a look at all the street names that you've lived on in your life. If you can remember back from the street that you were born onto and all the way through, you might find a golden thread that goes through it. So in the workshop, they all were writing down their list of street names, and didn't a story emerge about their lives that was really inspirational and really on their soul purpose. So I, do it for fun. It's really a fun activity. But the third way to dive deep into your soul purpose is say yes and be enthusiastic. So you can see me here. I'm paddling down the Gatineau River about 2 summers ago, and my friend had invited me for dinner. So I had a dress on. I had my little strappy sandals, and then she said, "Oh, we're going to go canoeing down to my little cabin." So I wasn't ready for that. But as you know, I travel across Canada with my trunk full of things. So I went and rustled out a baseball hat, got a coat on, took off my strappy sandals and said, okay, let's go. And what I find when I have clients coming to me who say, I feel flat, they tend to be no people. Well, how about, have you tried this? Oh, no, I don't want to. Like canoe, I'm not a body dominant person, so I'm not like canoeing. I like to run, as I said, but canoeing and doing all these kind of sporty activities is kind of not in my wheelhouse. But she said we were going to pack up our picnic. If you can see on the bottom of the screen, you see a big picnic hamper. And we were going to go paddling. Just say yes. You don't know what's on the other side of that yes. You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know what insights you're going to have. I said yes, and here I am putting it as a slide in a soul purpose presentation. So start saying yes. Have a look at whether you're resisting opening up new territory for yourself. If you're resisting, turn it around today and say, yes, I'm going to go do that. Why not? Why resist? The fourth way is to go into your 5 dimensions. And my son that I was showing you earlier, he was really in kind of a pit because he couldn't find a job and everything when he graduated from university. And I said, well, the secret is go into your 5 dimensions, go have a heart-to-heart with God, Creator, universe, whatever name you use to describe that dimension. Go in there and promise God that you will look after your 5 dimensions. And you say, I promise, body, I will look after you. I will feed you healthy food. I'll exercise you. I'll make sure you have a nice space to live in, uncluttered and pretty. Mind, I promise I'll develop you. I promise I'll read and understand and read lots of books and open up my mind. Because we know, and I've had to do, I had to edit a thesis on Alzheimer's. And really the number one way is keep reading, keep exercising your mind if you want to stave off Alzheimer's. Promise your mind dimension you will continue to exercise it. Promise your spirit that you will create the life it wants to live. Promise your soul, yes, I will dive deeper into your soul purpose. Some of you might be soul dominant, and you know your purpose and you're living it. I have a very strong soul purpose, but I don't stop there. I want to keep elevating it. When I go back over to the other side and God says to me, Margot, thank you. You did all I asked you to do. I want to live that out. And oneness, which is God, it's connection, it's belonging. This is why I love the philosophy of Unity Church. We are all one. So I promise I will be a force of oneness, connection and belonging, making sure everybody here feels that they belong here. No, like anti-racism, that is anti-oneness. Any other groups that are being judged, that's anti-oneness. I promise that I will be a force of oneness in my life. And this becomes a purpose. And you will be shocked at the vision that will come in for you when you promise to look after these 5 dimensions. And finally, be of service. You see where the Inukshuks are there? Down on the river. I took that picture because our family bench is right opposite that. So when my dad was in a lonely place after the love of his life, my mom passed away. And so we went off to find our family tree in Cape Breton, and he ended up writing our whole family history, quite a comprehensive one, right back to 1723. And I wanted to thank my dad for having done all of that work, and my mom who had passed away. So you can see on the bench our family McKinnon motto, and you've heard this so many times, but it's on our family crest: fortune favors the brave. And when I bought this bench for my dad, and my siblings pitched in because they thought, what a great idea. And in fact, when I phoned up the city of Calgary many years ago, when is that, 2003, the woman on the phone said, you know what, we just had a meeting this morning about putting benches in with inscriptions, and you're our first one. So this is the first bench in the city of Ottawa. And I thought, well, I don't want a bench just for my parents. I want one that if any of you say, you know, I feel a bit lost today, I'm going to go and sit on the bench and see if I can get some comfort, and look out here at the artist that does the Inukshuks, his sense of purpose in rebuilding these every season, and go and have a chat with him. And really, sometimes I find that people who are lost and feel they don't have any direction, they also aren't of service. Like, they don't think about, what are you going to do for others? And I would say in my last thing, be of service. If you can do anything, how can you bring that out to a larger group? So I did that with this bench. So I'm hoping that if anybody comes along and you say, oh, there's Margot's bench, go and sit on it, our family bench, and get the vibes of fortune favors the brave. I'd love it. And if you want to send me a selfie of you sitting on the bench, fabulous. So in closing, diving deeper, what is the special skill, interest, quirkiness that sets you apart? Find the meaning and significance of the feelings and events of your life. Say yes. Promise your 5 dimensions. Be of service. And so in closing, of course, if anybody would like a copy of my book, there's how you can get it right there. And we're going to do our deep dive into soul, but this time it's a workshop. So I've organized activities for you to do so that you can really deep dive in even further. And you can go to the Unity website and sign up for that. I'm going to do one for Calgary on the Tuesday because I'm now working in different time zones. So there's that one coming up. Here's my contact information. If you wanted to sign up for a workshop in future, check out my website. If you wanted to call me, if you want to send me an email about today's talk on soul purpose, I love to see them. So I'm going to stop share now. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Margot. That was such an inspiring talk. And if it hasn't got people fired up to sign up for this workshop, you know, truly diving into our soul, I think, is one of the most critical things. In fact, it's probably the most important thing that we can do. Well, I saw some wows in the chat box, and what a gifted young woman with a richness and a wisdom that belies her youthful age. So we are filled up, we are nourished, and what a great time it is to celebrate our own individual prosperity, as in this time of great uncertainty, we still have life. We still have so much to be thankful for. And as our community has evolved to online, we still have our own expenses, and we are grateful for your sharing of your abundance with us. For as we give, so do we receive. And will you join me in the gratitude, our affirmation? Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. So, in our blessing, here we have, together let us bless our center. Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us, and we accomplish mighty works together. And this is Sheila's offering of a little yellow warbler who will take our blessing and fly it into the ethers for us, showering us with ever-growing fortunes. Oh, it is my pleasure to call forth my granddaughters here as the children's blessing. So we have Ava, who's turning a year old this month, and we have Dahlia, who is 8, and another little granddaughter on the way. So I'm really delighted to have them blessed by all of you today. So let us bless them and all the children in our lives together. You are the peace, the love, and the light of the world. Let your light shine. And sing in the quiet of our home. So it's that time in our service for thank yous. And wow, I want to extend my gratitude. I see in the chat many people are extending their gratitude to you, Margot, for such a wonderful talk. It's inspiring, it's hopeful, and it is a necessary conversation that each of us have, especially in this year of 2020 when so much change is happening. We have an opportunity to really roll out our own red carpet for the rest of our life's journey. And I really invite each and every one of you to sign up for her workshop. The music selection, Lynn, was fabulous. Thank you, thank you. Loved Daniel Namath's deep dive into the soul introduction, so it was beautiful. Sue, as always, your prayers are beautiful and uplifting and magical. Steph, thank you for reading the Daily Word today and sharing you with us. And like I say, it is an invitation for each of you to offer your service to us. Diana Romero, thank you for being co-host. And Sheila, as always, for coordinating the entire service. To each of you for showing up today, I thank you, thank you, thank you. And our theme for next week, well, we're in for a treat. We have Douglas Cardinal. Many of you know him, renowned international architect, who is going to be speaking about Grandfather William Commanda's 7-Fire Prophecy Wampum Belt. This is a phenomenal opportunity for each of us to understand the depth of his vision in what he sees for an awakened world experiencing oneness. So I invite you here next week to join us with Douglas Cardinal. So a reminder that our prayer partner on duty is Susan Hagar. She is available for prayer if any of you wish to have her pray with you. To arrange that, send an email to Sheila at officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca, and she will email she will email Susan with your request, and Sue will get back to you. Other options are the online at www.unity.org, the You Pray app, or calling Silent Unity at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. It is our goal that you are prayed up. So let us, just in closing, as we come to the end of our service today, we take a moment to appreciate the gifts of well-being, the role of divine order in our lives, and the benefit of excavating our soul's purpose. Consider putting into practice some of the suggestions that Margot provided, and remember to sign up for her workshop. It will be life-changing. These times call for the amplification of our faith and a renewing of our well-being and our soul's direction. Go in peace, blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. So join us for the prayer of protection, and you may want to consider holding your hands out to receive that blessing. And then as we have an etheric in our mind circle for a closing, consider just holding your hands and just imagining holding the hands of one another as we close with our closing song. Thank you, thank you, thank you.